just for your reference here. So, all right, so how did they do that? So what they did is, what you're gonna find is when you're, so I can just talk a little bit of structure, but you know, they used a bunch of things like Mongoose body parser and these kind of things. They did a nice design here, which is, again, it's not required. I'm just kind of, in terms of talking about, you know, organization of code, and maybe we haven't seen that kind of thing when we took out the uh, express generator, actually pulled out the server part and the bin folder. It was called www.service. They did all the server work there, and then app.js, they had all of the express part of it and all the middleware. So you can also do that. In the same sense, so these guys are, you know, again, this is third year. I'm not expecting anybody to do this. But what they did is they extracted out all the Socket.io, all the Socket.io work and all the functionality inside of a socket manager. And then they included that all inside of they included all of that inside of socket.js, right? So they did some work there. So there's a lot of work in there, right? On connections, how they're, you know, doing the saving and all that. And they actually had a log file, and they did a ton of work. So it's a lot of work in there. I don't know how many lines of code there is in there. So it's just quite a bit, right? It's a lot more than what you guys are doing, but they have the same type of things, right? They have a user chat. They're tracking users, and they're tracking more private chats and things like that. But I just wanted to mention that, like, there's a way you can actually extract out all the Socket.io stuff if you wanted to build like a, you know, a very nice organized app, but that's not required here. So they do the connection here. They go and set up. So this part here, you're going to run into problems when you're working on the front end, and I'll walk through it again on Saturday. This right here, you're kind of adding some custom middleware here. And what you're doing is you are allowing cross-site scripting, forgery, I believe. Yeah, you're basically, because you're gonna be on the same, you're gonna be running localhost, and you're gonna be running it against 2 ports. Internally, it thinks there's some kind of cross-site scripting attack going on, and it's gonna the browser is gonna basically stop you from doing that, and you're gonna get a very big problem with that. So this is a way of allowing all origin. Basically, it's allowing all the headers, and you're basically saying that I'm going to allow the cross-site, because I trust it locally, I'm going to allow it to happen, so you can bypass security. Without this, and I can, you know, you'll get this in this video here, and I can actually post it in the Slack channel or something like that. But this allows that and prevents you from getting an error. Otherwise, your requests aren't going to work. Your UI is going to hit the back end, and it's not going to be able to do the GET requests across localhost. Maybe even if you were to deploy it to Heroku in the same way, right? So they go and they set their routes up for chat and index. Remember, this is just a UI. There's no backend in terms of what you guys are doing, and they do it that way. And I think they have routes. I think they're just using basic jQuery, and yeah, they're using HTML, and I believe they're just using Bootstrap and jQuery here. So that's what they did, but I just wanted to point that out. Like, you're going to need this for cross-site forgery. That's your custom middleware. It's not going to work unless you add that. So I'm recording this at this time. You can take a look at that, and I can, you know, certainly update that in the channel or something like that if we need it. So if you're going to build this out, and let me quickly show you what you will have to do, not might have to do, is you're going to have your server level. And again, you could have it in a folder, server and client, but you're going to need 2 different sections of your application. You're going to need a server section, and you're going to need a client section where your React lives, right? And they're going to both have their own package.json, and the trick is they're going to have to both be kickstarted on different ports, right? You're going to have to. So in this sense, it says, go ahead on the server level. Sorry, this is the client package.json. So in the package.json Node.js part of the server level, I'm going to just run npm start, and it's saying it's going to run server.js. And we're going to kickstart node server.js. and that's given a problem here. So let's see where I am here, and maybe I need to make sure that I'm in the right right application here. Where am I here? Part 2, best part 2. So I'm not looking. So I need to be right. npm start run. Maybe it's not going to work for me. Npm run start. So I think they don't have a. All right, so they don't have a server.js, which is unfortunate. So let's just run app.server and see if that works. And let's see if they actually have all the connection here set up. I think they do. All right, so let's see. But anyhow, the point is that you're going to have to kickstart, however that works. You're going to have to kickstart. So they're having some issues there. All right, I ran this for you already, but the point is you're going to have to kickstart the server in one terminal window, and then you're going to have to flip back to the other terminal window, and you're going to have to go into the client, and you're going to have to run that package.json, right? You're going to have to run 2 different instances of it on different ports. So this one's going to be running on it's going to run React script, right? So now we're putting the 2 projects side by side. We're going to run them together, and on Saturday I'll have this more running for you if I don't get it tonight. So then you would just, you would do npm start, run start, and that would go kick off the React portion of it. And then you have your React UI running. So that should kickstart. You should have your backend running. And with that, you're going to basically make requests from your client-side React using Axios. You're going to trigger calling your backend, which is going to be running on a different port. So if your front end is running on, say, localhost 5000 for your UI, your backend may be running on localhost 3000. So you need to call your endpoints with Axios to localhost 3000, and then you need to give it the different URL paths for your RESTful API, right? You may have localhost 5000 / chat history, which by default might get everything, right? Or you may have an extension in there said API, however you set it up. I've seen it as API / chat room, API / chat, or just / chat. However you have your router configured, it's going to handle those routes. But just know that you're going to be running on 2 different ports. I don't have this running for whatever reason. It's not loading up. I think maybe the other port isn't. It's giving me some error on. Okay, so it's giving me some error saying port 5000 is already in use. So maybe that gives us. Maybe this will help us out by canceling out this other one. That makes sense. So I can close this out. Close the other project out, and let's try this again. So we'll run this. Listening on port 5000. All right, so now it's saying that it's connected on port 5000. This is the backend server. I flip back to the other terminal window. React is starting, so React is starting up. On port 3000, it's chugging along. For some reason, it doesn't work in IE. And they gave me a nice README file. Remember, in your project, it'd be very nice to have a README file. So it says right here, it's by these 2 guys and their student numbers. They give you some nice instruction on how to run it. Okay, so npm start in the client directory, node app.js in the server directory or the root level, and then some admin credentials, which is always nice because I don't want to have to hack your code, which I have done in the past just to make it work. Ideally, I want to see it working. So ideally, I'd like credentials in there. So, all right, localhost 3000, cross our fingers that this is going to load up. You never know. And cue the elevator music, right? So it's saying it's launched, compiled successfully. All right, so so this one we have already looked at before. They reactified, which you guys don't have to do the front end. So they have a client chat, which you probably will know what that looks like. But for us, we have this admin login, which is optional and a bonus mark for us. So we don't need to do it, but if you want to do it, it'd be great. You can do a post request. You could even look at some passport.js and make this work, add some validation, maybe this might validate, who knows, it might not. Let's see, I remember this one was a little buggy. But let's see what the password was that they provided somewhere in here. It was password. That's not hard, password. See if it works. So how they laid it out, again, for our perspective, we need to have some kind of routing. So I wouldn't advise to do this. I want to see at least a menu bar, a navigation bar that we can click back and forth so I know your routing works. And then all they're doing is they are outputting our backend that we collected, right? They have their history table, user message room, and they've cataloged a lot of, 40 messages, who knows? Events table, again, the connections and these kind of things, right? They use some material UI. So they use some different kind of material UI for this grid component. So you have some paging, and that's bonus as well, right? Paging, you could have some filtering or some kind of sorting on the columns. That's all provided. Looks like, yeah, their sorting's working, all right. And then they had an option of some CRUD operations with pop-ups and some things like that, and deleting. I think it doesn't work, to be honest, but anyhow, you can kind of visualize a little bit of what it might look like. You would have a panel across the top, switch, displays information. It may look simple at first, but the whole point is using your React, using the backend with your Express, and then tying the pieces together. And tying the pieces together is where you're gonna run into some problems going across all the layers, because you need to make a request back to your API. Then you need to map it, and you need to output it to your components, right? And using state and all that kind of thing. So this is what it may look like. It may look like eventually for you, something like that. Again, a README file. You're going to need a client directory, which has your React code folder, and you're going to need a server one, and you're going to have to run it on 2 different ports. That's really important. You're also going to have somewhere in there, you're going to have that, you should have that cross-site scripting right here. As you can see right here, you need to have that cross-site scripting, right? Because that's going to be a problem if you don't have it. Because you're not going to be able to make a request to cross from localhost 3000 to localhost 5000. It's just going to block it. Inside of the browser will actually give you some error. And you will not know why. You will sit there and say, it doesn't work. I have it partially done, which just happens all the time. And really the solution to that is, these 2 magic lines, right? I mean, not to say that's going to be the only problem you run into, but that is actually a big part of this problem. So I'll give you a little bit of, context of what the assignment would be looking like. And we talked about Express today. And we kind of talked about a little bit of how to wire up, this project. I'll try to make a demo not related to chat and events. I'll try to do that restaurant socket.io thing. I started with that demo and try to build it out and just show how to display the data on Saturday. And then we'll wrap up on Saturday. We'll try to do a little bit of React hooks. We'll just try to figure out how to put this together end to end. And then we'll wrap that session up, and then we'll have the weekend to study for the exam, and then do our project for, I think I said Wednesday. So I'll leave you guys with this. I'll post this video and the other ones from the session on our channel. I just have to upload them and make them available to you, and work through this. And again, if there's any questions, let's use the Slack channel, because apparently my email is going to be going down. So if for some reason you don't get any emails on Saturday, let's look at the Slack channel, because it's going to have all the information. I'm going to send the Zoom message to the Slack channel, because we may not have email over the weekend. So aside from that, it's 9:45. I'll leave the channel open. If you have any questions, work through this, and have a good night, guys. All right.